Dare to meet the silent watchers whose unblinking eyes hold eerie stories of the unknown. From windswept attics to shadowy corners of museums, the world's most haunted dolls await, their chilling tales etched into the annals of the paranormal. Guys, welcome to Paranormal Top 10s here with me, Selena Spooky Boo, and today we're talking about the top 10 scariest haunted dolls in the world. So let's drink our tea and get into it.
Let's go!
From the infamous Annabelle enclosed behind sacred glass to the lesser known but equally disturbing figures like Pupa and Letta, these dolls share chilling connections with the spiritual world. But you really wouldn't want the last doll to be anywhere near you. So, let's begin. Coming in at number 10, we have Annabelle. The story of the Annabelle doll begins in the early 1970s and reads like a chapter from a horror novel, only it's woven into the fabric of real events, or so it's claimed. The Annabelle doll, now housed in the Occult Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren in Connecticut, is infamous for its unsettling past, involving alleged demonic possession and a series of harrowing incidents. Annabelle is not your typical Raggedy Ann doll, despite her innocuous appearance. With her cheerful smile and her vibrant red hair, she resides in a glass case inscribed with the Lord's Prayer, underlying the gravity of her perceived threat. A stern warning on her case cautions, "Warning, positively do not open." A chilling advisory to visitors to the Warrens Museum. To the untrained eye, Annabelle may even seem like a relic of mid-20th century Americana, yet her story suggests a much darker narrative. Her journey to notoriety began when she was reportedly given to a young nurse named Donna in 1970, marking the start of a series of eerie events. Initially, Annabelle was a beloved gift, sitting on Donna's sofa and adding a touch of whimsy to her apartment. However, the atmosphere soon shifted when Donna and her roommate Angie noticed that Annabelle seemed to move on her own.
No.
Hell no! The observation that sprawled into a terrifying sequence of events. They would find the doll in different rooms and ominous notes pleading for help, seemingly written by an unseen hand.
You just get rid of the doll at this point.
Toodaloo.
Right?
You're going to the
Like, how does
store.
this story go further? How does it not end up?
What we would do is immediately bury it somewhere undersold.
Bury it.
Why is
Don't burn
not
it.
common knowledge?
Bury it.
No burning.
No burning.
No. You know this. The situation escalated when Angie's boyfriend Lou had a frightening encounter, alleging that he found Annabelle on the floor and experienced a sudden, painful scratch across his chest, with the marks mysteriously vanishing days later. In an effort to understand this phenomenon, a medium was consulted and claimed that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of Annabelle Higgins, a supposedly benevolent entity desiring affection. However, the doll's actions suggested otherwise.
So I never knew the backstory of Annabelle. So Annabelle Higgins.
Yes.
Is that a person or like a spirit?
According to this first medium that did come in with Annabelle, she came in saying that this was a child ghost. This was a child named Abigail Higgins. What's interesting is in the movie, Abigail was a next door neighbor to the people who had the doll at the time, and it was their daughter who had gotten in a part of a cult. But the true story is that it came to this medium as a child, saying, "I am a child, blah, blah, blah." But no, when Ed and Lorraine Warren came in, they said, "No, this is not a child. This is a demonic spirit pretending to be a child." Because if they're pretending to be a child, you feel sympathetic towards them, correct? And then you want to help them.
So was that Ed and Lorraine trying to make more out of it for selling?
Oh no. I like to pretend no, because I just like the mystique of Ed and Lorraine Warren's story.
Absolutely.
Concerned for their safety, Donna and Angie sought help from the Warrens, who quickly surmised that the doll was a conduit for something more malevolent than the spirit of a child. See? The Warrens deduced that this was a demonic presence masquerading as a harmless ghost to win over the unsuspecting. They arranged for an exorcism and removed Annabelle from the apartment, hoping to curtail any further harm. Upon taking Annabelle into their care, the Warrens experienced immediate paranormal activity, including the doll supposedly causing their car to malfunction on the journey home. Once at the residence, Annabelle's disturbances continued until the Warrens secured her in a custom-made glass case, which they believed would contain the evil force. Ed Warren would periodically bless the case to ensure the entity remained confined. Annabelle's reputation as a malevolent force persisted even while enclosed. Visitors of the museum reported feeling her influence, with one priest experiencing a catastrophic car accident after mocking her powers.
Ooh, don't mock.
Dude, never mock. Like, even if one person was like, that thing's weird, don't talk to it, something bad might happen, I would avoid.
We just ignore. We don't even talk about it. We don't We don't let them know we're here.
I say this, but then I still bring ghost stuff into this house. I apologize.
Well, I mean, we keep it out of the house.
Right?
We put it in the garage, right?
Jeez. And another visitor meeting a fatal accident shortly after taunting her. Stop it, guys. These incidents contribute to Annabelle's sinister legend, making her one of the most notorious artifacts in the realm of the paranormal. I want to say thank you to ShipStation for sponsoring today's show. As most of you know, I have a beauty company, and let me tell you that my life was hard before I found ShipStation. And all of you who run an e-commerce business already know shipping can consume valuable time and resources. ShipStation makes that easier. They're the multi-carrier shipping solution that integrates wherever you sell online and streamlines your workflow, so your business can grow even when you're on a summer vacation. Go to shipstation.com/spookyboo to sign up for your 60-day free trial. That's shipstation.com/spookyboo. Using ShipStation honestly opened up a whole new world for me. I love that the automations allow me to smoothly print shipping labels at the click of a button. It feels amazing to save thousands on shipping with industry-leading carrier discounts. The easy-to-use dashboard makes managing orders smooth, label printing easy, reporting and customer service a piece of cake. Reliable enterprise solutions and discounts up to 89% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. Work less and ship more with ShipStation. Get a 60-day free trial at www.shipstation.com/spookyboo. Thank you to ShipStation for sponsoring today's show. Next up, coming at number 9, we do have Robert the Doll.
Is this the one Sam and Colby went and saw and did things they weren't supposed to?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The tale of Robert the Doll stands as a singularly eerie narrative that transcends the usual ghost stories, intertwining with the history and folklore of Key West, Florida. This doll, unlike any ordinary toy, has garnered a reputation that looms large in the annals of the paranormal. Robert's story begins over a century ago, making him a storied figure in the supernatural circles. Currently residing at the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Robert is displayed in a specially designed case that ensures his preservation. This includes humidity control and UV filtering glass, all courtesies of a donation from an admirer of Robert's infamy. Yet, despite these precautions, the museum continues to receive reports of the doll's unsettling influence.
Okay, I say we remove the protections so that someday this doll does just disintegrate and disappear and move on.
Okay, but like, I get you. I do. I was gonna say, but no, let's let it perish. Wait, I'm afraid we're like calling on him.
There's yin and yang in this world. Somebody out there wants it to survive for weird reasons.
Let's get yangless.
Whatever.
The origins of Robert trace back to the Steve Company, famed for creating the first teddy bear.
Really?
Yeah. However, Robert was not intended to be a child's plaything. Originally part of a window display, possibly of clowns or jesters, he was crafted with an impish demeanor that now seems eerily weird because of his later notoriety. The doll was dressed in a sailor suit, likely an outfit once worn by a child who would become his lifelong companion, Robert Eugene Otto. The relationship between Otto and the doll began in childhood when the doll was given to him by his grandfather, who had purchased it while in Germany. As a boy, Otto bestowed his own name on the doll, referring to it in the first person as if it were alive.
Well, that doesn't help. That's going to make it alive for sure.
Hell no!
I feel like kids might garner a lot of stuff doing that, eh? Like when they're young.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you believe something's alive, then it's alive, right?
Right.
If manifesting's a thing.
The power we have that
all
we
these
don't
kids
even
just
realize.
manifesting demons on accident.
Right? Yeah, that's happening all over the place.
Yep. This attachment continued into Otto's adulthood, a point that local folklore often highlights with a mix of fascination and unease. You usually grow out of your teddies. This kid didn't, I guess.
No.
Otto, an eccentric and prominent artist in the Key West community, kept Robert by his side throughout his life. Residents and visitors reported seeing the doll at windows or hearing it giggle.
Nope.
With Otto often blaming the mishaps and accidents on Robert. The dynamic between the two was so pronounced that even after Otto's death in 1974, the legends of Robert did not fade.
So imagine being a kid and legitimately not doing things and having to blame them on this doll because this doll is legitimately doing these things.
And nobody believes you.
Nobody believes you.
No one believes you.
You just are a terrorist, but really you're not.
Jeez. Myrtle Reuter, who purchased Otto's home, known as the Artist House, experienced similar disturbances. She reported movements and giggles that she attributed to Robert, which continued until she ultimately donated him to the museum. The museum's curator, Corey Convertido, wow.
Convertido.
Right? Acknowledges the continuous interest and the occasional unease surrounding Robert, indicating a persistent belief in supernatural attributes. Robert's impact is such that even skeptics find themselves intrigued with the stories of his influence. He has been blamed for a myriad of misfortunes, including car accidents, job losses, divorces, and several personal tragedies. Visitors to the museum often treat Robert with a mix of curiosity and reverence, some leaving offerings or asking politely for photos in hopes of avoiding his wrath.
So is this the doll that you can't take a photo of?
You have to ask, and if you don't ask, there's people who took ones
So
without
Sam
asking.
and Colby didn't ask.
No, I think they did.
Oh, did they ask?
But it's crazy because his whole thing is just surrounded by notes of people apologizing and asking for his forgiveness.
Oh, okay.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No photo for me, thanks.
Number 8, we have Okiku. If you ever find yourself in Iwamizawa,
Iwamizawa.
There we go, Japan. A visit to the Manenji Temple is a must, especially if you're intrigued by the mysterious and the paranormal. Nestled within its temple lies a seemingly innocent relic from the early 1900s. An ordinary children's doll with an extraordinary and unsettling tale. At first glance, the doll named Okiku looks like any other toy from its era. However, it harbors a chilling secret that has captivated the imagination of many. Its human-like hair, which reportedly continues to grow. This peculiar phenomenon is accompanied with heart-wrenching story linked to loss and enduring love. The story of Okiku begins with a little girl for whom the doll was named. Okiku was the cherished companion of a young girl who succumbed to yellow fever at the tender age of 3.
Ugh.
According to the legend, the child died with the doll clutched in her arms, making it her most prized possession. Although the family desired to bury the doll with Okiku as a final gesture of affection, legal and bureaucratic obstacles prevented them from doing so. Instead, the doll was placed on the family's altar, transforming it into a shrine that commemorated the young girl's life and passage into the afterlife. It wasn't long before the family noticed something extraordinary. The doll's hair, originally a neat shoulder-length cut, began to grow uncontrollably, turning into a tangled mass that seemed to reflect the doll's own transformation. Reports emerged that the doll's hair changed colors, textures, an anomaly that defied explanation.
Right?
Like
how long before you even noticed that? It might have been doing it a little bit.
Like months, yeah. As if the growing hair wasn't unsettling enough, the family started experiencing other supernatural phenomenon. They would wake up and find the doll beside them and encounter inexplicable occurrences like flickering lights, unexplained noises, and eerie voices. Particularly Okiku's birthday, or as the anniversary of her death approached. These chilling events led them to believe that their daughter's spirit might be inhabiting the doll. Aww. In 1938, when the family decided to move to another district, they chose not to take the doll with them, fearing its mystical properties were somehow linked to the proximity of Okiku's grave. Instead, they entrusted it to the care to the Manenji Temple. The priests there not only took the responsibility of caring for Okiku, but began to notice the peculiar growth of the doll's hair. In pursuit of understanding, they sent hair samples for scientific analysis, which astonishingly confirmed that the hair was indeed similar to that of a human child.
Weird.
Over the decades, Okiku's notoriety grew. The temple's priests as well as visitors reported that the doll seemed to possess a bold, eerie presence, invading dreams and exhibiting an increasingly rapid hair growth. Recent claims even suggest that Okiku's mouth is slowly opening, revealing what appears to be the emergence of baby teeth within her porcelain gums.
Okay.
What?
No way. So there would be a movie on this if this was American. So we miss out on a lot of this stuff because it's like different cultures, different languages and stuff.
I'm thinking so, yeah.
This is insane.
Well, this is a doll I've never heard of, and I've heard of all them dolls.
We need to look up and see if there's a Japanese horror movie or documentary.
Oh, they do the best horror movies.
Right? Like, I'm not a subtitle guy, but I'll do it for this. This is a crazy story.
I will do it. Now at number 7, we have the doll named Lily, another haunted doll that captures the imagination of those interested in the paranormal, whose presence now graces Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. Made in the 1800s in Germany, Lily is not just an antique, but a vessel of mysterious energies and a tragic past, wrapped in the delicate features of a doll adorned with real human hair. Which I get that. I get using that, but it's weird, man. Lily's journey into the realm of the haunted began when she was discovered by an antique dealer. The dealer, likely drawn to her fine craftsmanship and historical value, could not have anticipated the chilling experiences that would soon unfold. Shortly after bringing Lily home, the dealer began to experience reoccurring nightmares. These were no ordinary dreams. They were vivid and disturbing and centered around a little girl who had suffered a tragic, violent fate.
I don't like nightmares. I don't like hauntings that cause nightmares. I would rather be haunted in the real life by anything.
But have a good fat sleep.
Have a good fat sleep. Exactly.
Bug me from like 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then we're done.
Leave me alone at night.
Leave me alone at night. The nightmares were just the beginning of the eerie phenomenon associated with Lily. Convinced that the doll was linked to these supernatural occurrences, the antique dealer decided it was best to part ways with Lily, placing her for sale in his shop. It was here that Lily's haunting nature became even more apparent. One particularly unsettling incident occurred when a customer visited the shop with her young daughter. The girl, seemingly enchanted by Lily, spent 3 hours conversing with the doll like she was a living child. This interaction alone might have been dismissed as a child's vivid imagination at play, but what the girl revealed to the shop owner was deeply disturbing.
Okay, before we get into what she claimed here.
Yeah.
Children's imaginations, hear me out. They're not always an imagination.
Bro, same page.
They are in like almost the fourth dimension or something, and
Some
they can
kids do,
see
like-
and hear and know other things that are playing out that we
Have you heard of indigo children?
lose connection with. Yes.
Yeah, like there's kids that are connected. Like those kids who are overly creative.
Yeah. I mean, more and more they're saying your brain is an antenna and like everything, all the knowledge in the universe is already inscripted in our DNA.
Yeah.
You just have to understand how to tap
it's crazy.
into it.
But what the girl revealed to the shop owner was deeply disturbing. She claimed that Lily was the embodiment of a little girl who had been subjected to extreme violence. Zach Bagans, known for his fascination with the paranormal and his collection of haunted artifacts, became intrigued by Lily's story. Upon encountering the dolls, Zach Bagans reported feeling an immense energy emanating from her, a sensation strong enough to confirm the doll's potent presence. This encounter led to Lily's acquisition and subsequent placement in Bagans' Haunted Museum, a fitting venue for an object with such a storied and spectral past. At the museum, Lily resides not just as an exhibit, but as a palpable presence that continues to intrigue and unsettle visitors. Her backstory is of a troubled past, communicated through dreams and a child's eerie interaction. This paints a complex picture between tangible artifacts and the intangible energies that they may harbor. Lily's continued effect on those who come into contact with her raises profound questions about the boundaries between the living and the spiritual realms. Number 6, we have Ruby. Nestled within the world of paranormal artifacts and eerie relics, the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and Occult offers a uniquely haunting experience for those fascinated with the unknown. Since its establishment in 2014 by Greg Newkirk and Dana Matthews, this mobile museum has showcased an array of bizarre and supernatural items to haunted venues across America, providing a gateway to explore the unexplained and the macabre. Among the most captivating items in its collection is Ruby the doll, a figure shrouded in mystery and unsettling tales. The story of Ruby began when she was discovered by the friend of a curator, Dana Matthews, concealed in a dusty attic within a cardboard box, hidden away with various forgotten trinkets. Once a cherished family heirloom passed down through generations, Ruby gradually became a source of apprehension and fear within the family that owned her.
If a doll's passed down through generations like that, we're in such a throwaway society now that, like, just imagine the energy that it's gone through.
Yeah, all the families it's lived with.
Yeah.
What it could have picked up. The doll's eerie nature manifested in several disconcerting ways. Family members reported that Ruby seemed capable of autonomous movement, often found in different locations from where she had been placed. More disturbingly, she was associated with a range of inexplicable phenomenon, including the emission of a strange, otherworldly sound and the apparent ability to induce sudden ailments to those around her.
Oh no.
What? Such as severe headaches, allergies, exhaustion, and intense bouts of nausea.
Okay, that sounds like someone that just needs like a Tylenol and maybe some like Aleve.
Or maybe it's a demon doll. You never know. These incidents led the family to believe that Ruby was not just a doll, but a vessel carrying a spectral presence. The origin of Ruby's haunted reputation is linked to a tragic tale. She was allegedly the favorite toy of a little girl in the family who died while holding the doll. Again!
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
can
you're
we
good.
start burying these dolls with the people?
Sounds bad.
Can we change those laws? Like, what
Or
stopped
like,
that
if the
in the
spirit of
Japanese
the
one?
child goes into the doll, why is it evil?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
This event seemingly bound the girl's spirit to Ruby, inflicting the living with a sense of ghostly attachment that refused to fade. In an attempt to sever this unnerving connection, the family enlisted the aid of a psychic medium. However, when the efforts to help the spirit transition into the afterlife failed, the family, wearied by the unsettling experiences and unable to find peace, decided to donate Ruby to the museum.
Yep.
Dude, these museums are buzzing with ghosts.
Right?
Upon her arrival at the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and Occult, Ruby initially remained dormant, sitting quietly on a display shelf as just another peculiar artifact. However, it wasn't long before her presence began to assert itself into the new environment. Curators and visitors alike reported being inexplicably drawn to the doll. Many felt compelled to hold and rock her gently, as if driven by an overwhelming nurturing impulse. Interestingly, while the interactions evoked strong emotional responses, they did not trigger the physical ailments previously reported by the doll's former keepers. Maybe
Okay.
just wanted out of that toxic family, dude.
Probably. So also another thing, all these dolls in all these different museums, can we like talk to them all and film a YouTube video where we get all the dolls together in one place
What?
and just see what happens?
I'm not getting on a plane
See if
after
we
that.
can get haunted.
No!
See if we can let
Sir?
them all release into the abyss, help them all find their way.
Yeah, but some of them are demons, bro.
Could you imagine walking into that room and like all these 10 dolls were in one room?
I literally pictured like it's all black, right? And there's like one spotlight and there's like chairs and all these haunted
They're all
dolls
sitting in the
their
chairs like at an AA
And
meeting.
then I just walk in, I'm just like, hi.
Do you guys want to talk about your problems?
Dude, no!
Oh.
Ruby's presence in the museum raises profound questions about the boundaries between the tangible and the ethereal. Is Ruby merely a conduit through which the unresolved energies of a past life are manifested? Or does she represent something deeper, an intersection of different planes of existence, where the consciousness of a departed soul seeks comfort and recognition from the living?
I always wonder how many different versions of hauntings there is.
Dude.
Like interdimensional, interplanetary, interspiritualism, demons.
There were some people ghost hunting in a psych hospital, and they connected to ghost hunters in the future.
Also past and future, yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently either the fourth or fifth, apparently there's like 11 dimensions. We're in the third dimension. The first dimension is a line. Second dimension, you make a square. We're the third dimension. Once you get into like the fourth and fifth dimension, they can like, it's like trap, I forget what the word is, but it's squares attached to squares. It makes this
Trapezoids?
weird thing like that. Yeah, sort of, not really though. So someone viewing from that universe can see different rooms of everything we're doing all happening at once.
No, I don't like that. No, like they stress me out. It's like when I think about what's beyond space, I don't want to do that because I'm gonna get diarrhea.
All right.
Number 5, we have Letta. In the quiet town of Wagga Wagga, New South Wales, Australia. I'm sorry, I even read that earlier. I'm like, Wagga Wagga.
Wagga Wagga,
lies-
Pac-Man town.
Dude.
Wagga 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 Wagga.
Lies the eerie origin story of Letta the doll, a tale that intertwines with the poignant. Discovered in 1972 by Kerry Walton under the creaky floorboards of an abandoned house's porch during a trip to his grandmother's funeral. Wow, what a setup. Letta is not just any doll. This child-sized wooden figure dressed in green with a long braid and a peculiar face has captivated and terrified those who have crossed its path. Walton's encounter with Letta was chilling from the very start. Driven by a mix of curiosity and dread, he ventured into the neighboring house that had haunted his memories from his past visits. Upon discovering Letta, the immediate sense of unease was felt and profound, echoing into the sentiments of anyone who lays eyes on the doll. Deciding to take Letta back to his family home in Brisbane, why? Walton was unaware that his decision would invite an unascending saga of supernatural occurrences.
Ooh, starting that chain.
Here we go. The name Letta itself emerged under strange circumstances, of course, during Walton's drive home. As he placed the doll in his car's trunk, he was startled by unsettling sounds, movement, and a muffled scream that seemed to plead, "Let me out!" From that moment, the doll was christened Letta. Get it? Let me out, Letta.
Yeah.
And its legend began to grow. Once integrated into Walton's home in Queensland, Letta's presence became synonymous with a series of inexplicable events. Reports of the doll moving independently, leaving marks around the house and under its shoes, were frequent. Walton, along with multiple witnesses, claimed to have seen Letta move on its own. Right?
Right, Molly?
Yeah, I
I
heard
know.
Molly too. Even the children in the home were not spared from the unsettling influence of Letta, hearing it shuffle about and expressing their fear of this mysterious new addition. Letta's notoriety has only grown over the years, earning its appearance on various television shows and a very own personal Facebook account, testifying to its uncanny ability to fascinate and frighten. We have Mandy. In the quaint Quesnel and District Museum in Canada, oh, she's here.
We gotta go see her.
Yeah. A doll named Mandy has attracted widespread attention and unease. Crafted between 1900 and 1920, Mandy was donated to the museum under mysterious circumstances. The previous owner, who preferred anonymity,
To not be told about.
experienced disturbing phenomenon that compelled them to part with the doll without destroying its historical value. One unsettling night, the donor was awakened by a loud, echoing cry, resembling those of a baby, despite there being no child in the home. Driven by desperation, they ventured into the basement where Mandy was stored, only to discover an open window and the doll missing.
What? We got like a Chucky situation here.
Reappearing inexplicably the next morning.
Just went out for a stroll. Do.
After donating Mandy to the museum, such chilling events ceased at their home. However, Mandy's presence soon began to disturb the museum environment. Staff reported bizarre occurrences shortly after her display near the entrance. Lunches disappeared. This might be
This is
weird.
a hungry doll.
Only to be found in odd places, and items like books and stationery routinely went missing. These strange activities led to Mandy being isolated from other dolls, fueled by suspicions of her knocking them over out of jealousy during the night. Mandy gained notoriety after being featured in the 1999 issue of Supernatural Stories around British Columbia, sparking curiosity and fear among visitors. Many who came to view the haunted dolls struggled with their cameras, their batteries drained unexpectedly, and flashes flickered erratically.
We've experienced the battery drain thing on this
Yup.
camera when we first got it.
We sure did. Adding to tangible sense of dread to their attempts to capture her image. Today, Mandy continues to be a peculiar draw for those fascinated by the paranormal, embodying a blend of historical intrigue and ghostly lore that haunts its corridors of the Quesnel and District Museum. Next up, we have number 3, Pualu Ubendal. I googled this, that's the closest I could get.
Pulo.
Pulo. We'll call it Pulo.
Pulo.
Pulo Ubendal. At the beginning of the 20th century, as Europe braced for turmoil of World War I, its ripple effects were felt even in the far reaches of Southeast Asia. Singapore, when under British rule, harbored a climate of distrust towards Germans, reflective of their border and global tensions. During this period, 2 German families, the Brandts and the Mulligan, who were said to manage the coffee plantations, found themselves in a precarious situation due to their nationality. These families resided on the Pulo Ubin, an island that forms a part of modern Singapore, living relatively isolated from the main political dramas, but not immune to their consequences. In July 1914, as the war intensified, the British authorities in Singapore started detaining German nationals as a security measure. A military operation was launched to detain the German families from Pulo Ubin and relocate them to Tajlin Barracks on the Singapore mainland for internment. Amidst the chaos of the operation, a haunting incident occurred. A young girl from one of these families, overwhelmed by fear, fled into the dense woods of Pulo Ubin and vanished without a trace. Despite extensive searches, she was not found until days later when her body was discovered by local workers at the base of a cliff. A tragic casualty of her desperate escape.
So I see a Quentin Tarantino meets M. Night Shyamalan movie here, where these people go and fight a war with a haunted doll.
Yeah.
That's like their weapon.
That's their thing.
Yep.
Could
They
be,
just
you
go
know.
to places and like put haunted dolls. Like in a pub
That you
where
just
the
freak people
opposite
out.
side is drinking, you pretend to be them, you go and you leave your haunted doll there and leave.
That's terrifying. Like, I get it though. The local community, moved by the young girl's tragic death, laid her to rest on the island. They covered her body with sand and adorned the grave with flowers, creating a makeshift memorial where they would offer prayers and light incense. Her grave became a poignant symbol of the human cost of war and the geopolitical strife. Far removed from the battlefields of Europe, yet deeply affected in its fallout, after having been visited by the spirit of this little girl 3 nights in a row, a man bought this particular Barbie as instructed and brought it to the shrine to serve as her stand-in. Interesting.
Get rid of it.
It's a Barbie. Cool. All right, we're counting down. Now we're getting to the second last. We have number 2 here, which is Pupa, a haunted doll housed in a private family collection, has garnered a reputation for her mysterious and animated behaviors since the original owner's passing in 2005. Encased in a display, Pupa is often observed moving autonomously, interacting with her surroundings in ways that suggest a spirited presence within the inanimate object. Dressed in a blue suit, the doll's activities range range from subtle movements to more noticeable actions, such as pushing objects around in her enclosure. Family members report that Pupa seems to express the desire for freedom, exhibiting behaviors that imply she wishes to be released from her glass confinements.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it is not uncommon for them to notice changes in her position. They might have left her seated in one pose, only to return to find her hands pressed against the glass. What? Or her posture altered. These eerie occurrences are often accompanied by the sound of tapping on the glass, drawing the family's attention back to Pupa, whose actions seem to beckon for the interaction of perhaps a signal to attempt to communicate.
So hear me out.
Yeah.
What if sometimes this is just a spirit or a ghost or something moving the doll to mess with the people, but the doll's not actually haunted?
Dude, if I die somehow, I'm gonna fuck with you for the next 60 years.
For sure. Like, you're not trapped in a doll, you're just moving the doll weird. People think it's the doll, they get rid of the doll. The next thing that's in the house starts moving.
Well, that's how a lot of things work. The lore of Pupa extends beyond her physical movements. The family who cares for her recounts numerous pranks that suggest a playful or mischievous character. The doll's history is deeply intertwined with that of her original owner, a woman from Italy.
Trieste.
There you go. Who received Pupa when she was just 5 or 6 years old in the early 1920s. The cherished possession accompanied her throughout her tumultuous times of World War II and various travels across Europe and the United States, surviving numerous close calls with destruction. Pupa's significance was further enhanced by a button sewn into her collar, a memento from her owner's grandmother who passed away at the end of World War II. The owners always maintained that Pupa was not just a doll, but a sentient companion who had a mind of her own.
I'd say.
Right. Communicated with her and even saved her life on more than one occasion. Throughout her life, the owner shared with her grandchildren stories of Pupa's companionship, cementing the doll's status as a beloved confidant and protector within the family. I love it!
That'd be nice.
I take that kind of haunting.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Protection's great.
I feel like there's like this really sweet spirit in Essie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just likes to be around. Okay, guys, we have moved on to the last one. Number one here. This is
Number one.
This is Joliet. Joliet, often referred to as Joliet the Haunted and Cursed Doll, occupies a chilling niche in the realm of folklore as an object steeped in malevolence and mystery. According to legend, Joliet is not merely a doll, but a vessel for something far darker.
Ooh.
Reputed to be possessed and highly dangerous, her story intertwines themes of grief, malevolence, and supernatural, making her a figure of fear and fascination in equal measure. The origins of Joliet's curse are as sinister as they are sorrowful, and it is said that the doll was originally given as a pregnancy gift by a woman to her friend.
Oh no.
No, with whom she had a fraught and jealous relationship. This gift, however, is no ordinary gesture of goodwill. It was a vehicle for a curse!
No way, what a douche.
Dude, intended to inflict the deepest pain imaginable. According to the curse, each recipient of Joliet would bear 2 children, a boy and a girl. Tragically, the son would be destined to die just 3 days after birth under mysterious circumstances.
What a brutal curse.
Dude, that's
Is there
not
a
fair.
worse curse?
I don't think so.
Like, I mean, I would rather probably just die than go through all that.
Dude, the curse did not end with the child's death. The mothers, in their profound grief, reported hearing cries believed to be from their deceased sons, emanating from the doll.
Ugh.
It was believed that the souls of these boys were trapped within Joliet, doomed to remain bound to the doll until Judgment Day. This harrowing feature of the curse rendered Joliet not just an object of supernatural fear, but also a vessel of continuous psychological torture for grieving mothers.
Dude, this is some voodoo shit.
That's terrible. Bad juju.
I couldn't even write a book that terrifying.
Over the generations, those who inherited Joliet treated the doll with a mix of reverence and dread, almost as if it were a replacement for a lost child. The owners never dared to dispose of Joliet, partly out of fear and partly out of perhaps due to the hope that maintaining the doll would somehow honor the trapped souls within.
Well,
That's
I mean,
interesting.
a lot of people probably think their child's now in the doll. They don't realize the doll's the problem.
That's a really interesting thing to look at it, though. Yeah, they think that their spirit has a doll, so you don't want to get rid of the doll because you don't want to get rid of your child.
It's like a genius haunting.
It
where
is.
it's like the doll is masterly manipulating the person into thinking that it's good because it's now your child. You have to keep that doll, but really
it's just they're doing horrible things to you.
Yeah.
That is absolutely tragic. The story of Joliet is absolutely terrifying.
that's a good number one.
That's a good number
Because
one.
that shit, I would burn that one. I wouldn't bury it.
You can't burn it.
I would burn it.
Burning is bad.
I would burn that one. Don't burn it, people, but I would burn that one.
Burn it. I hope you all enjoyed this top 10 of haunted dolls. If you have any top 10 ideas for me, please drop them in the comments below. There's something new, but I think you're going to enjoy it. And also, other than what Adam says here, please remember, if you want to dispose of a haunted item, do not what? Don't burn it! Don't do it!
Maybe burn Juliet.
No, this is what you do. If you have a haunted object and you don't want it around, go somewhere like land that isn't owned by anybody. Go into a forest, dig a hole at least 3 feet deep, put it in there, give it your respects, cover it in salt, okay? Fill that with dirt, put some salt on the top, well, do not mark it in any way, and leave. Forget where you put it, all right? Adam, do you have any final comment?
Let's go shopping for some haunted dolls.
Bye, guys. The doll's eerie nature manifested in several disconcerting. Disconcerting. Yeah, I know that's the word. It's not coming out. The doll's eerie nature manifested in several disconcerting. Say it.
Disconcerting.
Disconcerting.
Disconcerting.